So Jurassic World Dominion. I didn't see it.
I also did not see it.
I did.
I didn't see it.
I think the best way I can describe it is that it is a complete disgrace to the franchise, and especially the first movie. And that's coming from someone who has pretty much defended 1 through 5 in some way, shape, or form. Because like Jurassic Park and the franchise itself is my favorite one. While you may question it, why, it's just my favorite. I just think they're fun, dumb, well of course, besides the first one, of course. You know, ones that I've always watched growing up and stuff, and you know, like my whole family loves it too, so it's just something that I really love. And even with ones like Fallen Kingdom, I still had some sort of fun with it. The sequences in it I thought were pretty fun, like the part where they're saving the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar. That was fun to me, like dumb, fun, hate the human cloning stuff, but like, you know, there's still like some things that I enjoy.
Hate the human stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like in all of them, I think there's something fun. And then Dominion comes along, and I just can't defend it. I really can't. Because it's just pathetic and an absolute disgrace to all the other ones. Because if you didn't like Fallen Kingdom, I don't even know what you'd think about Dominion. Because
a lot of people did not like Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
If I'm handed a pirated copy of this movie one day, maybe I'll watch it. Don't want to get money by watching it through streaming.
It's just, it's so upsetting to me that this one had the most potential, I think, out of all the sequels to be possibly the second best one, because you have the original cast coming back, you have dinosaurs running around the world, well, supposed to be running around the world, and you would think, oh, this is cool, this is gonna be fun and exciting. And you know, I went in with reasonable expectations, because I went into this movie with the same expectations that I had for, I mean, off the top of my head, Godzilla vs. Kong. I was not expecting anything groundbreaking. I was just expecting something fun. Godzilla vs. Kong delivered on that. I had those same exact expectations for Dominion, and they still managed to not do that either. It's not fun. It's not exciting in any way. It's just dumb the entire time.
Not even Jeff Goldblum saved any of it?
What is Jeff Goldblum's IQ? I've never had it tested, but it's somewhere between 30 and 197.
Well, I mean, there's like some few things that I liked about it that made my Jurassic heart
I
a
just didn't
little
know how
happy.
much Jeff Goldblum was in it.
He's in it a good amount. I think that's its saving grace. Like the original cast. At least for me, it was a delight to see them again. Made my heart happy. And of course, Jeff Goldblum, the best part about it. And like my favorite part of the whole movie is just like out of nowhere, like no context at all. He just goes, Jurassic World. Not a fan. And I like to think that they're like, Jeff, that's not in the script.
Yes, exactly.
I love how this is marketed as the epic conclusion to the Jurassic franchise, and it has little to nothing to do about dinosaurs, which is, you know, kind of the whole gig about
the whole point of
the franchise. I mean, I don't know, the other ones kind of seemed like they're about dinosaurs. I don't know, that's what I always thought when I saw these. But the dinosaurs in Dominion were basically sidelined for plots that I could care less about. It was basically a kidnapping movie along with a, hey, let's expose this company movie. And then, you know, sometimes a dinosaur was in it.
I feel like they say epic, but they really just mean there's a lot of visual effects.
I have to go.
And we spent a lot of money on it. Okay.
All right, see you next. The Jurassic World character's plot was that their clone daughter gets kidnapped and then they have to save her. That's their plot. And then the original cast's plot, which I love seeing them again, but their plot was stupid too. Is that Ellie, I don't know, wants to... There's these like giant locusts. I can't even tell you why, but there's like giant locusts. And then she's like, hey... Yeah, like the bug. Like that thing that you see outside. The epic conclusion of the Jurassic saga is about bugs.
Well, it's not like it's called Dinosaur Park, Gary. Right?
And the locust sang in the distance, yeah, the locust sang such a sweet melody.
Yeah, Jurassic is open-ended to everything that existed in the Jurassic period. So then she has to like recruit. She's like, hey, Alan, come with me to expose company, whatever. And that happens. I mean, there's a few things that I did enjoy. A lot of ideas that I liked and they didn't go through with them. But the things that I enjoyed, of course, was original cast. There's one scene with Bryce Dallas Howard where she's like all alone in this like forest, and then a whole fun sequence with this dinosaur in it. That was like the most Jurassic Park this movie felt. Like that scene was actually good. I also thought it was kind of neat when the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park characters met up. That was kind of fun. But like other than that, it's so embarrassing that this is what they came up with. It's not that difficult. Just have the stupid movie be about dinosaurs. That's all people want to see. No one cares about what...
I feel like they're afraid to be so basic. When really, based on everything else that has come out, it would be different to be basic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like they need such a huge storyline when sometimes it isn't necessary to be like that.
And
Jurassic
like,
Park took place in the park.
Yeah, one little location. While it's on a whole island, it feels so claustrophobic. It just feels like a huge slap in the face to the first one, because it basically took everything about what made that first one great and just spat in his face. Once the movie finished, I think I was just in like a state of denial. I was like, this can't be it. Like, this is like a fake thing, right?
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not how this franchise is gonna end, right? Like this is not real. But didn't help either. Of course, this was like such a fantastic experience. Me and my brother saw a double feature. So we saw the original Jurassic Park and this one right after. Seeing the original Jurassic Park in theaters is like a dream come true. Beautiful, amazing, exactly what you expect seeing it in theaters. And then right after, this one played. And then
Nightmare.
It's just like, yeah, this is why the first one's really good. Like, it did not help the movie's case that I just saw the first one.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe if I didn't, I might have given it like one more star. But like, just seeing it right after Jurassic Park, you're like, ugh. It leaves like a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
Something just felt so off about the Jurassic World characters. They just felt so weird. I don't know what it was about them. I don't know if it was like their acting, or I think it was mainly the dialogue. It just, something felt so off and like so weird. It kind of felt like an AI wrote the script for them. At least with Chris Pratt's character, especially Owen, I thought he was interesting in Jurassic World because I liked him as like a dinosaur trainer and stuff. I thought that was neat.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, like that he knows like what to do with the dinosaurs and stuff, and like I like that. He wasn't necessarily like an action hero. He was just like a trainer, a wrangler, if you will. In this one, he's just full-on action star. It's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
And like sticking a hand out to a dinosaur is not going to work all the time. Like just being like, whoa, like that's not going to work all the time. There's like one sequence that me and my brother refuse to believe is part of the Jurassic Park franchise. It takes place in like some European city. I remember just watching this for the first time. Me and my brother kind of look at each other and we're like, what is happening? There's like shootouts and car chases. They like roll out a thing of spikes to like pop the tires of like truck, and then they're chasing each other. There's like knife fights. And we're just like, what is this? Or like, is this seriously a Jurassic World movie? Like, it was like a B movie in Mission Impossible, basically. And we're just like, what is this? I mean, as over the top and crazy as the other ones were, it never got to that point. You still kind of felt like a Jurassic movie in some of them. But in this one, it just like went way too far. Like, it completely forgot about like what makes this franchise so popular and so beloved. Yeah, me and my brother refuse to believe that that scene is real. I just think like the most disappointing part about the whole movie is that they were teasing the entire time dinosaurs running around everywhere, and that didn't even happen. There's only like a few scenes here and there where like you see a dinosaur like crossing a street. I basically wanted to see a 2-hour version of like the final act from The Lost World, because I've always loved that part. I know people criticize it all the time, but That part I loved. It's so much fun seeing like T-Rex rampage through San Diego. So that's what I wanted to see, just like a 2-hour version of that. And they couldn't even do that. Like, that's so simple. So simple.
I think they're afraid to be simple.
Instead, it's just filled with stuff that no one cares about. They did bring in like a few elements from the original book that I thought were neat, but didn't do anything with it. Like the whole thing about Biosyn, which, if anyone hasn't read the book, that's like the rival company to InGen in the book. Lewis Dodgson, who was briefly in Jurassic Park, he was the guy that gave Dennis Nedry the Barbasol can.
You shouldn't use my name.
Dodgson! Dodgson! We've got Dodgson here! See, nobody cares. Nice hat.
He obviously had a much bigger role in the novels. So they brought him in again for this movie. And
Really?
yeah, and Biosyn. Like that character and
They introduced an entire other company?
well, they always kind of like been hinted at, but never really been a main focus.
Okay.
So now they were going to be the main focus. And I thought, when I heard about that, I thought that was neat because I thought like, oh, they're going to like do some things from the book where like this company's trying to like steal all the info and stuff from InGen and stuff and start creating their own dinosaurs. They don't do anything with that stuff. Like, you have your source material, you have books and stuff, and you just don't use it. Instead, Dodgson in this is literally Tim Cook. He looks exactly like him. He wears like the black turtleneck, white hair, glasses. It's exactly him. It looks exactly like him. He's just a joke. He's like some weird man. And they barely do anything with the company. The only thing significant about the company is that they've been making the giant locusts. Ooh. And like I said, this concept is the most interesting thing that you can do. Because that I can think of, no other movie that has had this sort of idea. And they just don't make it interesting. And I got the chance to see the extended edition, which is like 14 minutes. While it doesn't fix the movie, it's much better than whatever they put out in theaters. I just don't understand why, because there are some scenes in the theatrical version that make no sense. It just happens, and you're like, what the hell? You're like, why is this going on? What is happening? But then in the extended version, they kind of show why it's happening. They cut out so many important things, and why cut that out? That's important to your story. Like, sometimes characters just appear and you're like, where did you come from? Or like, from what I remember, like the kidnappers, the ones that stole Chris Pratt's child.
What?
The clone. The ones that...
That's Chris Pratt's child?
Well, I guess. I don't know. Adopted father? I don't know what he is.
Oh. The girl from the second one?
Yeah. I don't know.
She's know
like...
that.
They're like... She's like adopted now or something by them. I don't know. Something like that.
I didn't know.
But
she was just like some girl who was in that building with the rich people.
Well, whatever. But they, in the movie, the kidnappers are just like hiding behind like the trees. I'm like, what is happening? Like, who is this? Like, what are they doing? And then in the extended edition, they kind of go over like who these people are and what they wanted to do. It's still stupid, but like at least it makes sense. And then the thing that really boggles my mind why they would ever cut this out is the prologue for this movie. It is incredible. It is
that's
so
what
beautiful.
I was thinking of. That a lot of
It's
people
so
were talking about it,
beautiful. After watching it, like, it's probably the closest thing this franchise has gotten to like that awe and wonder since the first one. Like, just seeing dinosaurs in their natural habitat, just like all these like ambient sounds of like just water and like wind and like grass moving, and you just see like dinosaurs in herds walking around and stuff. Like, that was beautiful. And also the special effects were fantastic. They look great. Probably the best they've looked in the Jurassic World movies. It looks so beautiful. Such a great prologue. And then
What about the movie itself? Were the visual effects as good in that one?
Yeah, I would say they're pretty good. Towards the end of the prologue, you see the T-Rex fight another dinosaur. Then the T-Rex gets killed. And then, while it may be a little corny or cheesy, you see like the mosquito land on it and then fly away. And then it cuts to 65 million years later, and then you just see a T-Rex just rampaging through an outdoor movie theater. That is cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That is such a fun idea. That's exactly what I was hoping this movie would be like. Why would they cut that out?
See, that sounds like what I was talking about Doctor Strange, that they're afraid to have 2 minutes of just peace.
Yeah.
Just,
exactly.
Not constant action or something.
I think that whole prologue
they're almost
alone...
afraid to include it.
Yeah, that whole prologue alone, I think, gives the movie 1 full star for me. It's such a fun scene, and I don't know why they would take that out. That would look so beautiful in the movie theater. The prologue basically looks like those dinosaur documentaries and stuff that you see on National Geographic or whatever. It's so beautiful and pretty, and I don't know why they would take that out. It's so good. And another thing too, it actually is important. There's a visual cue in it that comes into play later in the movie. And it makes the whole scene make more sense because the dinosaur that the T-Rex fights is also in the rest of the movie. When the T-Rex gets killed, they kind of zoom into its eye to show that it's dead. You basically see the life go out of it. And then later on in the movie, in the 3rd act, they recreate that same shot. But instead the T-Rex is still alive and you see the eye move. And they cut that out. Little things like that, while it's not important, and it's not going to fix the movie. Little things like that, yeah, it's more memorable, and also it just flows better. It's not so choppy and weirdly edited. It flows so much better. The extended edition, I think, if you want to see this movie, is more worth it. But this is still my least favorite one. It's just so disappointing because so much potential was there, and they completely waste it. And what's a shame too is this is probably the last time that we're gonna see the original trio. So it's a shame that this is how it has to end. I don't know, as much as I love seeing them, it just made me a little sad. They all deserve better. Especially Sam Neill. He kind of looked like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, Sam Neill, it's not like he's irreplaceable or anything, but I love him as Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. With the original characters, they kind of also turn them into action heroes too, which they're really not, because in the original one,
I hate even the idea of that.
In the first one, they're just regular people. They're not heroes. They're not whatever. I mean, they are heroes, but they're not not what Chris Pratt is. There's one scene where Alan is on this little ladder. Ellie passes him a torch, and then there's a dinosaur hiding in the dark and jump scares him, and he falls back, hits his head, and you hear a whole crack, his skull cracks, and he just gets up. I mean, come on. But I'm really wondering, is this seriously what they had planned, or did they have to change it up because of the pandemic? Because I did hear that they had to change a lot of things because they couldn't shoot in certain locations. So I'm thinking it's possible that they had a different idea. They just couldn't go with it because, they couldn't shoot it or whatever. But honestly, if that were the case, I wouldn't mind waiting another year. But it is what it is. We got what we got, and it's not a good one. Yeah.
All right. That's a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
But we'll go to a good movie now. Talk about Nope.
Yes.
Did you know that the very first assembly of photographs to create a motion picture was a 2-second clip of a black man on a horse? And that man is my great-great-grandfather.
Great.
There's another great-grandfather.
So this has been said a lot, but I mean, it really is enough to be brought up, is that Jordan Peele is really one of the very, very few people right now who can get something green-lighted and people brought to the theater just based on his name. And he's done this in just a few years. He's been able to get this reputation. He's, obviously been around before, but as a director, he's really gained a lot of praise already. And people consider him a legitimate horror director. Even though this movie isn't really as much horror as Us, it's still pretty good, I think. And he delivers another solid movie, and I think that's really just cementing him as probably the most exciting director working right now who's come out in the past few years. And when you see his name on the billing, you just want to go ahead and see it in the theater right away. In coming out of Nope, I didn't really know what to think because I was a little conflicted on some stuff. I was underwhelmed with how straightforward it was. I was probably just compared to how heavy-handed Get Out and Us were with social commentary and all that, very hard-hitting in the other two movies. But I wasn't really looking in this one for necessarily a broken record of, a message of this and that. And It wasn't really as thought-provoking as the other two, but it works, I think, pretty well on its own. And like you said to me before I saw it, is that it's been compared to Spielberg, and I did not. That's the last thing I expected to hear before I saw it. And coming out of it, I see it. I see it. It's kind of like Close Encounters, that kind of feel to it.
Jaws is the other one.
Jaws is the other one, right?
Yeah.
And but yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I liked it, and that's something that I'm always happy with. I'm glad he didn't seep too much into a cycle that'll label him as, like a one-trick pony in terms of themes. But yeah, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I agree. This is my favorite movie of the summer that I saw, and I would say either I'm going with second for now, because the Batman's still my favorite movie of the year. I just loved it because I feel like it's the exact type of movie that I really like. It's funny, it can be really terrifying at times. It has like that eerie awe and wonder, and it's a spectacle. And that's like the type of movies that I really like. Jordan Peele is just such a fantastic director. He knows what he's doing. I trust him. I think it's safe to say that I trust him. I think he's 3 for 3 with the movies that he's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with Nope, I was expecting, I guess, like a little more horror, but I'm very satisfied with what we ended up getting, because it kind of did turn into more of like an adventure towards the end.
Yeah, especially with the score.
Yeah.
The score really played into that. There was some really great pieces of music in the movie that were really exciting.
I mean, it just worked really well for me. It's just so clever, the entire movie, because I never once did I have an idea of how this was going to end or where this was going to go.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't predictable. And that's what I loved so much about it. I just love it when, like, I'm left wondering, like, what is going to happen? And like you said, when I first came out of it, I also didn't really know what to think. I mean, I liked it, but I'm like, I didn't know, like, if I loved it as much as his other movies or whatever. But again, like you said, the more and more I thought about it, I loved it. And seeing it multiple times, I really ended up loving it a lot. It's great to rewatch again, too.
Yeah, I can't wait till it comes down on streaming then.
Yeah, because then you like notice different things and stuff. And it's really neat. I guess this is like a spoiler now. I love the idea of the UFO being an animal and not like a spaceship or something. Or like not dealing with like little aliens and stuff, which I thought was what they were going for.
It was just an alien itself.
Yeah. I thought they were going for like a bunch of like little alien people. That's what I thought they were going for.
They even throw you off too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And I'm happy they didn't go that route, because this one is just so like unique and original. I've never seen anything like it before. The scene where you find out that it's like an animal is terrifying.
Yeah.
Where you just see a bunch of people getting like absorbed, and then it's like super claustrophobic, and you just see them like going down its like feeding tube. It's terrifying. It's like nightmare fuel. The sound design for this movie is fantastic. Like the combination of like wind and people screaming is terrifying.
Well, another thing is how there will be wind, right? There would be wind, and then they would cut it out, and then you'd be like, oh, something's gonna happen. And then that was really good. Yeah. But sometimes you don't even notice the sound like in the background, which makes it even better.
Well, like that wind sound is just people screaming. I don't know if you'll pick that up. Like,
it's not.
Yeah, that sound is just like the people that are currently getting eaten. It makes it scarier when you watch it again. Like some of the subtle things that he does, like whenever the alien's nearby, like the power slowly goes out and comes back on. Yeah. Or the thing with like those like inflatable guys like in front of like car washes.
Yeah, and that's such a great idea because it's visual at the same time, and then it also plays really great into the story.
Yeah. Like you know it's there. You know it's coming. And that's exactly like I've seen it like compared to Jaws, how like simple things, like you just see like the line like twitching and stuff, like you know it's there. You don't see it. And that's what I really love about this. He finds so many clever ways to let the audience know that the alien's there or that it's coming. And I thought it was really neat. Or also like with the string of like little flags.
Yes.
That was cool too. Like you just see that like come out of the clouds. It's so much fun. And also like those shots where they like pan on the clouds and then you see like the thing just passing over the clouds, like that's scary.
Or that just like the quick shot of the horse being brought up into the sky, where it's just like at the very end and you see coming up, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, what you're talking about, the unpredictability, I think that's also because how the cast characters were ragtag, had to figure things out, really didn't know what they were doing most of the time, and that's also why you're like, oh, maybe they will lose, because really who knows what will happen. Because even if they quote-unquote lose, it's not really a way of winning in the end, but how they do win, quote-unquote, is how what I think the movie is about, which is talking about like modern age of media and how seeing is believing has kind of become irrelevant because of anyone who has seen visual effects, fake videos, Photoshop. They've become pretty much numb to the real life spectacle. They've seen so much in movies and stuff like that. And two scenes that really made me laugh the most were what really featured that, which were the green screen horse, which was really funny. When they had the horse in the studio and then it was acting up, so they had to take it out and bring the fake one. But that's also just right there destroying their small little business. But also is showing how they're using artificial stuff instead of just real horses. And then the other thing is the extremely overdetermined TMZ reporter at the end, which was so funny. It could have been poorly done, but it was so funny. How he was just so committed while his legs are broken. And that like obviously must come from personal experience or just seeing that around Hollywood from Jordan Peele. But to me, Peele, he was using a Spielberg-like narrative to criticize those who capitalize off tragedy, I think was another big thing of it. As well as those who minimize real life experiences. And then I think karma is also a big part of this movie. Stephen Yeun's character, that was pretty much his entire deal, was how he didn't learn the lesson of why the massacre on TV show happened, and he doesn't know why he was spared, you know, because the showrunners used the monkey as, you know, like a dancing monkey. And then that led to him just in turn meeting his demise when, well, he was putting the horse on display to be sacrificed, which is kind of over the top if you look at it from an angle of the whole thing being semi-realistic, but it's hard to say whether this is like really just straight up sci-fi or
it's like sci-fi horror.
Yeah, sci-fi horror.
Yeah,
because a lot of the movie kind of feels grounded, like, okay, it's just this child star, and then they have this business, but when the alien comes in, when the ship, it becomes really, really sci-fi like. And yeah, I mean, that's what I got from the movie, at least. That's what I thought it was about. There's a lot of different theories that, you know, that all make sense in one way or another, depending on how coherent the theories are. I
thought that Gordy's home scene was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was really...
That was so disturbing.
Hey, Gordy! Surprise! Wow, now that is a gift! Here you go, Gordy. Happy birthday! Beautiful, Haley!
And that's coming from someone that has seen many horror movies. That was so disturbing because they put you like in the point of view of the character, and it's terrifying. I also like, especially with that scene, there's so many different interpretations of it, and it just really gets you thinking. That's one thing that I've noticed is that ever since I've seen this movie, I think about it a lot. Like, I bring it up a lot. Sometimes me and my brother, like, we start talking about one movie that we just saw, and then we start talking about Nope, eventually. It's a movie that, like, it makes you think. What was it about? What the messages were? And all these hidden things.
I think over time people will like it better because of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more time to think about it.
Yeah. You know, that's one criticism that I didn't really understand. A lot of people saying that the Gordy's home stuff was pointless. Because I thought it was actually, like, really important
to the story. It's the whole reason why the ship is there to begin with.
Yeah, and talking about, like, that message of, like, exploitation and, like, the lengths people will go to profit off of a tragedy. I saw someone say that, like, that was an example of a bad miracle that they were talking about in the movie earlier.
Yeah.
That, Yeah, like the thing with like the floating shoe.
Standing upright.
Yeah, the standing shoe. That was like a bad miracle that saved the kid's life. You know, they end up talking about bad miracle later on in the movie with the alien. I mean, obviously it's bad because it's terrorizing them, but it's like a miracle in some sorts because they have the chance to be the first people ever to like capture an alien on tape.
And I think also with that is that not only on tape or on film, but how they get the actual picture, just how old-fashioned it was that they didn't do it like in real life when they had to turn the camera with the well at the bottom. But they used to have cameras that were so big. Yeah. But just the fact that it was such an old-fashioned way, I think it led into that idea of it being traditional spectacle in real life. Yeah. Being more impactful than something that was faked.
Mm-hmm. I also like the characters too.
Yeah, they're all really funny.
Yeah, I liked all of them. Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer.
I can see Daniel Kaluuya definitely working with Jordan Peele a lot throughout his entire career.
Mm-hmm. He's such a good actor. Like I don't know what it is, but like he's such a good silent actor, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like there's scenes where he's just like walking around, you know how he feels and everything. Like just like from like the looks on his face.
Well, there's that really great scene that I think was in the trailer. That I don't know if I saw the trailer in full beforehand. Probably caught it corner of my eye, but there is a scene in the trailer I think where Keke Palmer is giving her speech. She's great in the movie. She's giving her speech to all the people in the studio. In the background, just looking so miserable.
Yeah, like he's so good at like acting like a normal person. I like the combo of him and Keke Palmer. I thought they had like good chemistry.
They were great. Like,
and even like the supporting characters.
Real life.
Even the supporting characters I like too. What was his name? Angel, the guy that helped them out. He was funny.
And the cinematographer guy.
Yeah. That guy, the cinematographer guy, I don't know why, he just reminded me of Quint from Jaws. Like
he has like that gravelly voice.
That gravelly voice, and he was like so obsessed also of like capturing this thing that it ultimately led to his death. Yeah. Like I don't know, I thought that was like
about just how similar it is to Jaws.
Yeah. No, yeah, like it's really similar in the best ways possible. I would say that this is probably my second favorite of his.
I can't speak for us because I haven't seen this in theaters. I really like it.
But I love all three.
Yeah, I really like all three. I mean, Nope is probably just like by default my third favorite out of those three. But I haven't seen Us. I don't really have fresh thoughts on that, but I just remember really liking it. And then Get Out, I think is definitely my favorite of his.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I gotta watch Us again.
Yeah, I love all three of his movies. They're so good, and I cannot wait for his next one. I honestly don't even care. I just want to see anything from him, whether it be spectacle like this one or something
I wouldn't be surprised if he
more
just does
psychological.
comedy.
Yeah, or something more psychological like Get Out. I don't mind. They're fantastic, and it'll be interesting to actually maybe see him like tackle like different genres of horror too. I think that could be neat.
Or like a mix. Comedy, horror.
Yeah, like horror, comedy. In a way, all of them kind of are.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I think he really is going to be sticking to horror because he has been producing a handful of horror movies. Yeah. So I think he's probably going to stick with that for a while.
Yeah. He has like such like a good way of like building up tension that modern horror movies don't really do now. His movies are not just jump scares after jump scare. Like it takes its time. It's really effective. And it's not even like super violent or gory. Yeah. It's like because it doesn't have to be. It can still be terrifying without like seeing a bunch of disgusting things. Like the Gordy scene was terrifying and they didn't even show a lot of things happening. It was just like kind of like off to the side. So yeah, like he's so like masterful with his craft when it comes to horror. And another nice thing too that I really like is that whenever there's funny moments, because in all of his movies, but I would say Nope is probably the funniest, I would say, of all of them. Yeah. It never takes away from like the scenes that are supposed to be scary and stuff. Like it doesn't like take you out of the movie. It just it's so
it's a good balance.
Yeah, it's a great balance. And it never takes you out of it. And it's actually funny. Yeah. It's not like stupid, corny stuff. Like, it's actually funny. Well, obviously, because it's Jordan Peele. But, which still, I can't believe that he directs horror movies. That still boggles my mind.
There are a few Painfield skits that are like hard. Like there's a Whole Mirrors one. I don't know if he worked in directing that one, but there's like a Whole Mirrors one, which is pretty cool.
Give yourself up, Carlo. I'm right here, detective. Or am I over here, detective? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? Don't move. Oh, detective, you assume it's the real me standing in front of you. But maybe that's just what I want you to think.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see some of that through because I assume he's been a fan of horror his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But yeah, Nope is easily my favorite movie of the summer. And another thing too that I mean, we kind of talked about it, but the spectacle of this is so amazing. Towards the end, when the alien kind of transforms into like its natural form, I guess, so beautiful, terrifying but beautiful to look at. It's such a great movie to see in theaters. Like there's like these huge shots of like you see Daniel Kaluuya like on the horse running away from the thing, and it looks humongous like on the screen. Like it's awesome.
Another movie just takes place really just one location.
Yeah, like on their little like, farm area.
You have those other scenes where they got to bring some characters, but 85% of the movie probably at the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's just so many neat things to like that you notice. Like I could probably go on and on about little things that I noticed, but it's such a good movie, and I highly recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, that's do I.
Yeah. So that's my favorite movie of the summer. Prey is another movie that I did not expect much going into it. I wasn't even like planning on watching it, but I started hearing good things, and it was I would say a genuine surprise. Like it's not spectacular. It's not in my top 5 or whatever, but I think it was good for what it is. And it didn't overstay its welcome. It was short, got right to the point, did what it had to do. It was entertaining. I think this is a good way you can reboot a franchise like Predator that has been pretty much dormant for a while. I also think it's a genius move for it taking place like in the 1800s or whenever it was, in like a Native American setting, like little tribe and stuff. Like that's interesting. They haven't done that before. And it's refreshing to see like a different setting and stuff. And similar to the first movie, it just feels like very like helpless and small. It just feels like man versus nature, like what the first one was. I'd say it's a solid movie. Nothing like spectacular. It's solid. And if you want something to like just watch one day if you're bored, you might want to check it out. Well, that's it.
See you later.
See ya.